Oh my gosh, this is day 11. Day 11 of our stay ready so we don't have to get ready, move abroad, or take a sabbatical, or bop around the world, whatever you want to call it, series. And I am super happy about tonight. Well, what's up, Moni? Good to see you again. Always early. So let me just tell you, don't tell anyone. When I say 7, I really mean 7:05, simply because lives usually lives are interesting. And so I prefer to come in while a couple people may be waiting versus coming in and nobody's there, because then people miss the beginning of what I'm about to say. But what I think I may start doing, and I've seen one of my favorite celebrity YouTubers, they'll just start chatting and tell a story, right? So I'm going to do that tonight. And then maybe I'll start coming back a little earlier, coming on time and telling a relevant story. And so thank you everyone for joining. Hey, did I say hey to always early 35? Listen, maybe I need to change my name so that I will be always early. But thank you for joining. I'm super overwhelmed about the series and the success of the series and the questions that are being asked. And so I just want to say thank you to everyone who has been tuning in, who has been leaving so many positive comments, that's been just thinking differently about, our options. And what do I always say? Without options, you don't have freedom, period. And so the goal is to drive as many of us to freedom, whatever that looks like, but just making people aware of some of the things that I'm aware of. Sharing is caring. Let me say hi to some more people, and then I'll get into tonight. Yes, need to change my name and all that good stuff. Welcome, Jacqueline Miller. Vegas. One of my former favorite cities. I haven't been in a while, but yeah, I used to love some Vegas. So yeah, welcome to the channel. Hey, Shanzi81, good to see you. Welcome. And Casper 330. Nice to see you too. But yeah, I just want to thank everyone for tuning in, coming, joining us in these conversations. It's given me motivation to continue, to bring these lives to you. And let me introduce myself first for anybody new. My name is Kim, aka Kim with the Gems. I am the founder and creator of Black Travel and Culture Brand. It's a social media platform and events platform that I founded back in 2017 with the mission and the goal to expose more of us to the beautiful world of travel, which so many people think it's out of reach for them. But I like to share so many ways that we can travel. Not only, if luxury travel is your thing, fine, but there's other opportunities for travel that many people are unaware of. There are big communities of us living abroad that people are unaware of. There are Black-owned businesses, including hotels, and I have a video coming up on that. Hotels, so if you want to travel and check out a place but you don't feel comfortable, there are Black-owned hotels and we won't even talk about the Caribbean, but places like Amsterdam and the Netherlands and so many other places. So we'll get into that later. So that was my mission on this channel, Kim, aka Kim with the Gems, here on YouTube. We talk all things wellness, travel, and finance from my point of view, from a cultural perspective, from a Black woman's point of view. And so I have not been in this game, I'm not brand new to the travel conversation. Even my former career, travel was a part of that. And one day I'll get into that story about what I did, how long I did it, and all that good stuff. But I wanted to start tonight with a couple quick stories, just really quick. I promise you they will be quick. And it kind of piggybacks off the chat conversation that we had last night, the live Q&A, and going over some of the comments that I received. So I think that's probably how I'll start off the conversations or the lives moving forward, and just sharing some of the weird comments that I get. And also letting people know, whoever's listening, before you comment, just know you may be exposed. Oh, tonight I didn't write the names down, but some of the comments are still up on some of the videos, so feel free to check it out. But I do realize that my Blackness is offending some people. And how do I know that? I've had comments about, I need to remove this doll and I need to remove this book here because it's distracting, and the space needs to be basically like clean, and that is taking away from the cleanliness of the space. And I just have a feeling that the person who commented, because again, it's somebody with an initial and no other videos, that the person does not look like me. And so just be clear, for the majority of my YouTube career, up until a couple months ago, these were not there. But the name of my channel used to be Black Travel and Culture. I rebranded based on an audit that I received from a friend who works at Google. And they saw what was happening with channels that had the word Black in their official title, right? Not the title of the videos, but they're in their name. And so she gave me some recommendations on what I should do. And so I've always been Kim, AKA Kim with the Gems, from Black Travel and Culture. So I just removed the Black Travel and Culture so that I make sure that the information gets out to more people. I didn't want the information to be suppressed. And prior to me making that video, it's a video on my channel saying this is not goodbye, these were not there. But, and however, I still want everybody to know unapologetically who I am, the audience that I'm serving, period, exclamation point. So someone took the time out of their day to tell me how to decorate my background because it was offensive to them. You see the background still there. The Mamba mentality keeps me focused on who I need to serve, how I need to serve. This brings out the inner child in me because of the heaviness of everything that's going on. So this is an autographed doll. Well, the box is autographed, from Ludacris, who is the creator of Karma's World. And if any of you have kids or grandkids, you may have seen it or heard of it on Netflix. And so these are staying, period, point blank. One more comment that I thought was quite hilarious. Someone said that, let me read. It says, why would anybody watch a 20-minute video about how to get your passport when they can just Google it? And that I should just get to the point. Oh, really? Well, let's just see how many people watched that video. I didn't even have that pulled up, but let me just quickly tell you why would anybody watch it? Let's just say over nearly 13,000 people have watched that. How about that? And the video was just released on November 19th, so 2 days ago. So these are just, little comments that I'm going to share at the top of my live, so you guys can see, on the back end, even though I'm going to continue, this is my mission. So say whatever you want to say, make whatever comments you want to make. I'm going to continue down this path, and you can say whatever you want to say. I have very thick skin, and I'm going to start calling out names and exposing you. And the last thing, somebody had the nerve to say, you don't seem to have a lot of confidence. You need to work on your confidence skills. I'm not even going to lie. I have never heard that ever in my life before. And I found it quite, again, a person with an initial and no video, so whatever. But I've heard the opposite. And my career dictates that lack of confidence is not something that is typically associated with me. And so anyway, I may not be, let's just say, I'm not going to always get things 100% right. And I may not always sound perfect. And when the technology stuff happens, that may lead to some, signs of, oh my gosh, I don't want to upset the people. But confidence has never been a problem with me. And helping my people has never been a problem with me. Yeah, I'm a Howard grad. We move in truth and service, period, exclamation point. So anyway, I just had to get that off my chest. And now we could get into the topic at hand, but let me just say hi to a couple more people and then we'll get started. I'm new, trying to get information. I'm over 60, how to travel for the first time. Watched your other videos. God bless you. And the crazy thing that you said, oh my gosh, it's not even crazy. And I'm not even supposed to share this yet because the dates have not been final. But there will be a video coming up, hopefully before Thanksgiving. We're still working on dates and times and all of that addresses exactly. Well, I think it may be over 50, but she's over 60 or she's 60 or something. So anyway, so stay tuned for that. We're here to help. And I truly believe that this movement is across generations. I also spoke to someone today who wants to talk about how to set your children up for additional visas just in case. And she is aware of everything from sports visas and et cetera, et cetera. So again, this is going to be across generation. This is a movement that's going to encompass all of us. And I know, everything ain't for everybody. And some people may have to, get left behind. But what did Harriet said? I freed over 1,000 slaves, but I could have freed thousands more. I freed thousands of slaves. I could have freed thousands more if only they knew they were slaves. Now, I'm not saying everybody knows this. Anyway, you know what I'm trying to say. So everything's not for everybody, but we're going to try to do the work that has been divinely put on me to do. And for me to come on live for, what is this? What did I say? 12 days straight. This is a divine mission. Trust me. And trust me. Oh, thank you, Moni. I'm always learning something new from you. Thank you so much. Oh, Casper, thank you. I appreciate you and the information you share. Great and informative videos. Wow. People child, green-eyed lurker. That's not even half. Like some people are just big mad. Big mad, and also just pure racist, period. Like at the end of the day, we are living in a divided country, but I'm built for this, and it is what it is, but we got a mission. We got to stay focused. Did you already state the countries? No, I didn't. Are you talking about for tonight? No. I was biding time. So it is, what time is it? It is 7:19. We're going to get into it. I said, so just so you know, V. Richards, because these are lives and people tend to wander in late or later, I was like, I don't want people to miss the most important information because they're coming in later. And I even know with me. So I'm trying to find a way that people don't have to go back and rewatch if they don't have to. So the first part of our videos moving forward, I'm going to expose some of the comments that I received, and I'll do Q&A as well. So today was exposure. Tomorrow maybe these questions came up or I misspoke. And that leads me to the last thing I want to say. There was a comment that I made in the video that we did, passport changes, are you ready? And I said that the cost of a new passport, I think, was the same as a renewal. And although the cost is the same, when you get a new passport, you have to pay what is called an acceptance fee. And that $35 goes to the agency that is accepting your passport. So it is $160, well, $130 if you don't get the passport card. So let's just say $130 just for the passport, but then you have to pay another $35 when you first get your passport for an acceptance fee. So I need to make that clear. I meant to go over it, but I started talking about expedited, and then the acceptance fee, the ease just threw me off. So I just wanted to clear that up. I do have my passport because I want to spend some time in regular Mexico. Perfect, WM. Okay, perfect. Okay, so let's get into, no, you thought you missed it. No, we're getting into it. But I did my introduction and I see I have my checklist. So I just need to make sure. So I do want to let you know that tonight we are going to talk about 5 countries that make almost every single list of places that Black people should not move. Now, Black Americans should not move. I always have to make that distinction. So if you're a Black American, these are places that always rank high on the list of places to avoid if you're planning to move there. So we're going to talk about that. Then tomorrow we have 2 lives coming. 10:30, we're going to talk about how to put together your checklist to plan your exit, and the checklist for the exit could look different for everybody. It could be a temporary exit, it could be a permanent exit, it could be a I don't know exit, which also leads to the tomorrow evening. I am going to be able to come back at 8 p.m. and it's going to be about how to make money abroad. That's one of the main questions that I get. And this includes people over 50, over 60, over 40. It doesn't matter. We're going to talk about the most, how can I phrase it? It's not really easiest, but the most popular ways to make money abroad, because that could be a concern for some people. Most countries, when you get a visa or residency, you can't work there, but there's other ways to make money abroad. And so, and our ways may not look like their ways. So we're going to highlight our ways. And then tonight at 8 p.m., there's a premiere of a conversation on this channel, Kim, AKA Kim with the Gems, on this channel, of a conversation that I had with Ebony, who, with her family, took a sabbatical to Mexico. I met her in Playa del Carmen, her and her husband. They had a 5-year-old daughter, and she had just given birth in Mexico to her brand new baby boy. And so at 8 p.m., that's going to premiere on this channel. If we're, and I'll be watching live. So if you go over there and you have questions, I'll be right there typing away. So if you can, check it out. And now we're going to let me just go through these. Sounds like a plan. Perfect. Hey, Green Eye Lurker. Yeah, unfortunately, we're going to see a lot more of that with the way that, yes. But thank you for the information. I appreciate your efforts. Okay, thank you. Thank you for being here. As long as, listen, I could be talking to one person, I'm showing up. But thank you for joining. So let's get into it. Oh, the last housekeeping thing, which was the last thing. If you're not aware, there are resource guides that I'm helping to facilitate your move or your investigation or your research, and you can find those links in the description below. Right now, they're heavily discounted. So make sure you check those out. One is From Here to There, and that's the only one I'll talk about tonight. From Here to There resource guide with clickable links to 8 of the most popular countries for Black Americans to move to. And you'll see the list, but it includes Panama, it includes Canada, it includes Mexico. The list goes on, so you can find that in the resource guide. Now, when I go over these countries, it's really just going to be a list and my personal experience from people that I know that have visited and what the people are saying, right? And if I visited. So we're going to get into that list right now. So let's start with, we'll save the overwhelming worst for last. And again, if you have any questions, put them in the comments section and I will get to them. Now, while I'm looking this stuff up, I can't see the comments. But when I go over this list, I want you to consider these things. One, a lot of times so every experience is unique, right? I may go to one country and have one experience. You may go to the same country and have a totally different experience. So every experience is unique. I don't want anything that I'm saying to stop you from thinking that you should go test the waters or visit, right? These are lists that have been compiled by, I guess, feedback. And when you take, all of the countries into consideration, these rank at the top. So my experience may not be your experience. Also, language barriers can present problems that may often seem like they're racist or um, uncomfortable, but sometimes it's just the language. It's not always that the person is racist, right? It just could be language. It can also be cultural. It's not always, we grew up in a culture that runs one way. Someone else in another country grows up in a culture where it runs another. So case in point, the US, we're known to like, give me space, give me, a couple feet, you don't, invade my personal space. In Asian countries, that it's not so much. There's no such thing as personal space. And so just know that it could be cultural as well. And then sometimes what some people may deem as racist, could just be rude, period. Just like New York, where I'm from, the people are thought to be rude on the streets. We're not saying hi to people. Like if you go to southern states, everyone speaks to everyone, not in New York. So I remember spending time in the South, and I used to have to speak to people, or else it would be as a child, or that would be deemed rude, right? And then moving on, is it racism or is it curiosity? We sometimes just make assumptions that places are racist, but if they're not used to seeing somebody who has, purple dreads, then it could be curiosity, right? So your experience is based on your perception as well. So if your perception, and if you change your perception, sometimes your experience can then become much greater. And I'll start with one country that I have personal experience with that I highly recommend, although it makes the list and most of the list, that this country is someplace you should not go. And that's Italy. So Italy is one place that is often ranked high, I would say within the top 10 of most lists of places that Black Americans should not move to, right? And this list is not talking about traveling or visiting or, anything like that. It's talking about moving to. Italy is someplace I've been to multiple times in different parts of Italy, and it's one of my absolute favorite countries to go to. So that's my personal experience. I have not lived there, but it is one of I was just there in October of 2023, last year, and I wanted to go back this year, but I'm trying to do a trip to Asia in February. So it was too close. It was too close. So Italy basically is known to be, or is said to be, one of the most difficult countries for Black Americans. I will also say Italy has a high tourist population, right? And whenever you blend a country with tourism, you don't know what you're going to get. So a lot of people, and expats, there's a lot of people who have moved from other countries, other European countries, to Italy. And so you may get some off-putting vibes or off-putting reactions from someone who's not even Italian. And when I get into my personal story with that, it will kind of put things in perspective. So whenever you blend tourism with a country, then the racism or the rudeness that you experience may not be from the locals and or the natives. And my personal experience with that happened last year. Although I've had nothing but wonderful experiences in Italy, and I've been to Rome, I've been to Florence, I've been to Tuscany, I've been to the Amalfi Coast, which includes Capri. And when I say been to, not like a day trip, like took the train, stayed there for a while, not a while, but, some time, and got to immerse myself with the culture. But this time in Milan, and this was in an area that is relatively known for its diversity, like this part of it's called Navigli, whatever. I think I have it on my, if, I may have a video that I'll link. I'm not sure. I know I have a Italy video. I'm not sure if I put the, I did. So I will link or put in the description the area of town that I was in. And it is culturally diverse, and it is known as like a eclectic part of Milan. Well, one night, I was actually coming back. It was last October, and 50 Cent had his final lap tour. And so that night, went to the concert, came back late, and there were very few places open left to eat. And this one place that decided to go to and order, well, to get something quick because it was late. It was, 1 o'clock, I want to say. And so went into the store, and there was a woman and a man behind the counter. What I do know for sure is that the man was not Italian. He looked, I'm going to say he was from India or somewhere in that region. And so I'm in there, I'm next in line. Somebody else was ordering, and behind me comes like five guys, but 3 were going to make an order. And the guy literally walked past me. the manager, the Indian guy, walked past me and asked the gentleman, "What do you want?" The girl who was there even looked like, excuse me, you didn't see her sit, but you could tell she was just like a worker. So to get through the story pretty quick, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to say anything because I'm kind of hungry. And I really don't want to walk around trying to find any place else to eat. So I'm just going to let this slide, which is totally not like me, but I did. And the girl came to me as soon as he finished talking to the guys and was like, because she was helping the person who was in front of me. And then he went around me to help the other guys. And so I'm saying all that to say that the racism that I experienced, and I can't even say that it was racism. I just don't know. Like I said, it was guys. I'm a woman. So it could have been sexism. I don't know what it was. It was an ism, but I just don't know which ism it was. But what I do know, it wasn't an Italian. And my experiences with Italians have been nothing but, I mean, the way people looked out for me when I was there, I mean, from getting around to offering this, this one guy, I flew in super early. He let me check into my hotel room at like 9 something in the morning. Like, I've had nothing but great experiences when I was there, but Italy is one of the places on the list of places not to go. Another place is, let me see which order I want to go in. Let me see if there's any questions, and then I'll go to the second place. I don't want to. Okay. Oh. So really, I've moved there and had a family member that lived there for several years. Okay, you're talking about Italy, Shanzi 81? If you could let me know that you're talking about move to Italy. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've had nothing but great experiences, and people I know have had great experiences, and I've traveled there solo. I've traveled there with a friend. I've traveled there with friends. Like, I've had every type of experience, and I would go back in a heartbeat. And the food, spectacular. And so let's see what else. My personal experience with racism while traveling was from Western white tourists. Yeah. The entitlement, child. Someone else put into our comments that we went over. So if you check out the live video from last night, somebody talked about when Black people travel, we feel so entitled and this and that. I'm like, really? You didn't mean, I think that was a typo. You meant to say white people. Because the entitlement from white Americans is something that I see on the daily when I'm in Mexico. Like, from sheer disgust of having to try to speak a different language when the person that's local to the country can't speak the language, it's insane. So you're absolutely right with that. Stay away from Austria and Hungary. Yeah, that's actually on the top 10. I'm not going over those places tonight, but yeah, rolly solo. Does that mean you roll solo? um so definitely Italy. And then I said I was going to, I agree with you, Kim, about Italy, but I've gotten worse. Oh, you have worse racism in Italy? Is that what you're saying? Or other places? Let me know, and then we'll come back to that. And anybody else has an experience with racism in other countries, put it in the comment section to help the people know. Like, the people need to know. We need to help tell the people our personal experiences. But again, they're just that, they're personal experiences. And so, and the one other factor that it may be, it's classism. Like, if people don't think you got the green, it's less about the black and more about the green. So, we definitely, oh yeah, definitely, classism exists in that. It's an ism. We just don't know what. I've had worse than, 100%, 100%. So, okay. So I'm not going to be able to see the comments for a second. Let me get back to the other countries. And I want to make sure I go, because the last one is going to be the worst one. So just give me 1 second. Okay, so another country that is known to have concerns or be ranked one of the 5 worst countries for Black Americans to live is Greece. And so you will find people that say that Greece is amazing. Greece is this, Greece is that. And also know that there's different parts of Greece. So just like with any country that I mentioned, there may be outliers, right? There may be pockets of places that don't fall into this, general statement, right? So Greece has been known to have issues with Black Americans. And let me just emphasize that some of these countries, including Greece, they don't take the time to figure out if you're a Black American or if you are an African immigrant. Once they hear you speak, then you may get a different reaction, but they are well known for having problems with the African immigrant population, and we just may get caught up in that, let's just say. Now, I've been to Greece. It wasn't my favorite experience, but I also must say I went while they had a once in every 20-year snowstorm. It's called the Siberian frost, actually. And we had no idea that there was going to be a Siberian frost. And so that Siberian frost could have added to some of the extra angst that we experience with the people, and primarily the men of Greece. And so while, the younger me would have definitely and did definitely deem some of the experience as racist, I later learned from somebody who is Greek that basically Greeks are rude to each other. So Greek men will speak to Greek women in a way that will not be acceptable to African Americans here in our country. They will be rude to each other. And he said the reason why was because they think they invented everything. They think they know everything, and they think they are the greatest thing since sliced bread. I really hate that term, but they are the greatest things on earth because of Socrates, Plato, the whole Roman Empire, Grecian Empire, excuse me. And so that's where that comes from. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. I did meet some really nice Greek people as well, but it didn't lead. I had a good time even though there was a Siberian frost. But that is one country that I will say, I kind of agree. Like, I don't know that for somebody who's looking for community and warm and fuzzy and, all of that, I don't know if that's a possibility. There's also a girl on TikTok, and I'll tell you her name. She's married to a white man. She's a Black woman. And if I could pull it up real quick, she is, I follow her, and I don't follow many people. So let me just, following. Oh, that's the wrong channel. Hold on. Let me go to Black Travel Culture. Anyway, she talks about how her experiences in Greece, and she speaks Greek. She's taught herself how to speak Greek. And so her name is Artemis. So Artemis on TikTok, she has about 154,000 followers. She shares her experiences all across the world. She's left Greek. She lived in Turkey. She's lived other places. And so she shares her experience as a Black woman. She's a fair-skinned Black woman with natural hair, well, very thick hair. And she shares her experience from how she gets, treated in the small towns, in the big towns, knowing the language, not knowing the language. And Greece is someplace she had to leave. And so, again, this may not be everyone's story, but just be aware. There's another place that I wanted. So I went over Greece. I went over Italy. Let me see the next one. I want to go in some type of order. Let me see if there's any questions, and then we'll get back. And for those of you that don't know, that came in late, there's a premiere of my conversation with an expat in Playa del Carmen, telling her story about what made her and her husband decide to move to Mexico while pregnant, actually. And she had one of her children in Mexico, and they moved from Atlanta. So that's at 8 p.m. And I'll be in the chat live if anybody wants to join and ask any questions about the interview. And so let's go to the comments. Yeah, fortunately, want to see more of that. Due to my personal experience with racism, was traveling with, stay away from Austria and Hungary, Italy. Worse in the US. Okay, here we go. Always early, Hong Kong and China. Why are you trying to steal my thunder? Always early. You always early. Always early. And then, like Americans, I'm not sure what that comment was related to, because I can't see them as they're coming in. But you know what? Since always early stole my thunder, let's go ahead and talk about China. China is another place that's always on the list of places that Black Americans should not move to. And again, this is underscoring move to. And why? Because of their lack of knowledge, their fascination, their overt disrespect, and lack of personal space, right? Those are the top reasons why a lot of people do not rank China as very high on the list of places for Black Americans to move. Now, what I will say is, again, if you missed the beginning, sometimes it could just be curiosity. If you live someplace where there's not a lot of something, and I don't want to equate people to things. So if you live someplace where there's not a lot of one type of person or culture, then when that culture comes in, it would be just like if in America, we never ever saw a green person. But green people exist. We heard about it. We heard about them, but we just never saw them. Then one day, a green person decides to move or visit our country. There's going to be a lot of stares, picture taking, all of that. Now, I'm not saying Black people are green people, but what I am saying, there's not a lot of us in China for them to act a certain, to really I just wanted to make sure nothing was wrong with this video. So there was a text that came through. Yeah, so there's not a lot of us, enough of us for them to really be able to appreciate all of this. They're and some of them do appreciate it, because what it is, if so this is what happens in China. You will get called somebody, you will be associated with somebody. You could be 5'11" and they will call you LeBron James if you just have any type of similarity in features. So they know the big stars, right? They know the basketball players, they know the singers. So I was everyone from Janet Jackson to Oprah Winfrey. What a range, right? And so at the end of the day, there's a fascination there, and it transfers when they go to other countries. So that is a little problematic, right? If you think about it, when you are visiting some of these other places in maybe Southeast Asian countries or Asian countries like Thailand, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, you may encounter Chinese tourists or expats who are fascinated by our sheer existence, and they are going to want to take a picture. And I always say this, listen, if you are someplace and they're like, can I take a picture? Yeah, 300 baht. 300 baht. Now, that's up to you. I'm just saying, if you want to start deterring people, or if you want to make some extra coin, if you plan on moving, then yeah, 300 baht, or whatever the currency is, just ask for that. And some people will be like, here, because your time is valuable, your image is valuable. Yeah, ask them, yeah, I'll take some pictures, but this is what it is. And so again, that's up to you. But back to being in China. So China is someplace that I had an amazing time, but I was there as a tourist, and we had a tour guide, and our tour guide was amazing. Like Jamie wanted to be American so bad. He was amazing. And mostly what we did was the Great Wall of China. And, there was some definite curiosities when we were there, and we, did some touring. It was rain at that time. The weather wasn't the greatest, but we had a good experience. I have nothing bad to say. I just don't really like the airport in Beijing. It is huge. It is a lot going on. It is a lot to navigate. And so I'm not a fan of massive airports. And so I mentioned that in another video. There was another place I went where I was like, oh, that airport. Oh, Mexico City. Like I just don't like all the chaos. I have that here. I have that in New York. So when I go away, I like smaller, easier to navigate airports. And so China makes the list because of all the things that I listed. I won't repeat it. But definitely, I encourage you. Well, we'll see what happens with the relations between our country and theirs coming up. But it's someplace that has a lot of history. And if you get a tour guide, if you visit, then you should be fine, because they will navigate you. They will help you navigate through avoiding those experiences. But if you're looking to move there, now I also know a lot of people who have went there to teach, and they stayed outside of the major cities, right? And so it's interesting, because I also, throughout the years, I've been to dozens of travel conferences, and I've never had any feeling like they know I have a Black travel company, and they have all been gracious and accommodating. Now I know it's all about, the coin, and we're Americans, but I never got the bad feeling. I never got the bad feeling that they didn't want to talk to me, or they didn't want me there, or anything like that. So again, China is on the list. So we talked about Italy, we talked about Greece, we talked about China, and let me just see what other. We have 2 more to go. What time is it? Oh, in 10 minutes, in 9 minutes, we have the premiere. So I need to hurry up and get through the other two. But I do want to get through the comments because I know you guys may have some questions. I have worse in the US, so Hong Kong and China, right? Like Americans. Hey, Giselle Hennings, welcome. I don't know. Greeks are like Americans. No. You know what? That's what I was told. But they're worse, is what I'm told. Like they believe, they created math, they created the alphabet, they created philosophy. They are why the world has attorneys, and so yeah, their attitude is exponentially or their egos are exponentially greater, is what I was told. I see how Chinese treat Africans in Africa. They're rude and they're buying up everything, right? They are buying up everything everywhere. And so I may do, I may do a video on that. Let me get through these other two countries before 8:00. But how, China is taking over. And I remember years ago, someone, because I'm an investor as well, and someone who I follow, this was years ago, was like, learn Mandarin. Please learn Mandarin. Learn Mandarin. You need to learn Mandarin because their domination is imminent, basically. And so, yeah, and again, I mentioned earlier, a lot of times African immigrants are just treated horribly in other places. And so we may get some of that as a side effect, but it's not always that it's racism against Black Americans. It's just they may not be able to distinguish until they hear us speak and until they see what we're paying with, right? Some Italians were smiling and yelling Obama when they saw. I love it. I love it. Yeah, they will give you a celebrity nickname in a heartbeat. Know their language. True. Oh, dag, I didn't even see that. But yeah, definitely you need to. Yes, in Japan, I was Janet Jackson and my friend was Kerry Washington, which she did. Well, at least she favors her, right? So that's good. But they will nickname us in a heartbeat. I wouldn't mind if they all call. I think you're trying to say call me Oprah. Listen, I had this driver in Thailand, and when he was like an Uber driver, and I may put his picture up one day on my community tab. He looked just like Tiger Woods. He really did. And that was his nickname, Tiger Woods. And so listen, if it is what it is, yeah, call. I got it. A friend of mine went to Egypt and she was Whitney Houston. It's kind of funny though. Like it's kind of funny. I know for my brother, when he got married, they went to Hawaii for their honeymoon, and so my gift to him was a driver from a limo from the airport, and the driver, had his name and everything. That man swore up and down he was a professional because he had a Black man who he's almost 6, but he's not even 6 feet, was being equated to an NBA player. Do me a favor, if you're watching, hit the like button right now, please, and thank you. Simply because you won't even be able to, I think, see how many likes I have, but it still helps YouTube know that people are liking this video, and it will pump it out to more people. So I thank you if you've already hit the like button, but if you haven't, please do me a favor and hit the like button. And we have 5 more minutes, so I'm gonna and had all her money. Listen, child. But you know what? I don't even need all her money because that more money, more problems. But a percentage would be nice. Like that would be sweet. Okay. No, they didn't. Ha ha. My racism. I wish I had kept up Mandarin. Yeah, Shanzi. Like this is the Chinese, especially older ones, were big mad when I would speak to them or tell them I understood what they were saying in Mandarin. Listen, Mandarin is, it's too late for me to start, but like I'm trying to maintain my Spanish for Mexico. But yeah, so we're going to get to the last two. And you know what? At the end of the day, I'm using, because of the theme of this is stay ready, so we don't have to get ready. We have to put the US of good old A as one of the countries that we should be thinking about. Do we really want to live here or not? Right. And so USA is the next to last place. Do I really need to go into detail based on all the things that are happening and we know are probably to come, or we could presume are, going to come, but they need to be at the top of the list. Top 5 now, 2016, before all the, beginning of this downfall of this great empire, maybe not, right? There were so many different places, but when you have a country that's so divided and people feeling that they can say anything, do anything at their will, then we need to think of someplace else. And so the last one I'm going to get into for the sake of time, and you could join me on the premiere. It's going to be on this channel. It's the conversation with Ebony, who talks about her decision to take a sabbatical in Mexico, in Playa del Carmen. Her husband, and her, she was pregnant at the time. She had one child, and then she had one child in Mexico who became a citizen just by her giving birth there. And then she became, not a citizen, a citizen, and she's then gets some type of residency citizenship with that as well. Okay, and then the last and final and most popular place is India. How many people knew that? I meant to ask who knows the most popular place, and I forgot. I'm so sorry. Gosh, I'm sorry. So, okay, the last and most popular place. And again, this is just 5 places. It's not the entire list. We'd be here for another hour or two going over the top 20. So, yeah, I definitely have heard time and time again, and I'll just give one quick example. So I have a former coworker who, when I tell you her last name is Happy, and it's that for a reason. She is one of the most pleasant, happy, smiley personalities. Just if you're around her, you feel good. If you're like, she's just a good person. Well, she took a tour. She went on one of these Indian tours to India with a tour group, and most of the people were white. The experiences she came back and shared with me were so heartbreaking, because I know how jovial of a person that she is, and she had always wanted to go there. And so, again, they have a good medical system, healthcare system, meaning medical tourism. So if you want to go there and get some medical stuff done, by all means, put it on your list for research. We talked about India in the best or most affordable healthcare in the world. So you can check that video out to see the list of that. But as far as having any type of decency, and they treat African immigrants horribly. And so we got less than a minute left. So so India makes number 1. Hopefully I think most of you agree with this. And let me just see what you said. Yes, India and their caste system is ridiculous. Like, they are never had a desire at all to go there. Well, a lot of people want to see the Taj Mahal. So Mumbai and oh Lord Jesus, I can't even think of the other major city right now because I'm trying to rush. But anyway, there's 2 major destinations that people love to go and take pictures and all of that. Wish I would have found this in 2016 when I wanted to move out of the country. Oh, girl, you may want to again. And listen, yeah, we know about North Korea. And so it is 8 o'clock. Do me a favor, hit this like button before I head on over to the premiere. And if you want to see that conversation that was had, join us. I'll be there. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask them and I will answer. And tomorrow, don't forget, we're back with 2 lives, one at 10:30, one at 8 p.m. They'll be posted in the community tab. One is about how to become a digital nomad as a Black person. And then also, oh, that's okay, Giselle, I have to leave. Yes. And then the one in the morning is getting your checklist together, right? So whatever your move abroad, sabbatical abroad looks like, then we're going to get that together. So thank you for joining. I will see you at the premiere, and then I will see you tomorrow at 10:30. Thanks, everyone. Have a good night. Sorry, wasn't a fan of Singapore. Okay, yeah, there's so many other places I could have went over, but let me go because I'm late again. All right, take care. Have a good night.